Okay, so it's 8:16 on the 20th, so here I am. And I have no idea what happened yesterday. I don't know. I just did the regular thing. And some of the stuff I said, I was like, man, is it um something blocking information? Cuz I was going it's something that still is I just I see it so clearly, and it seems like other people don't see it at all. But I was talking a lot, and I said a lot of stuff. And then when I stopped the video, because I saw the timer was going, and it was just like an hour, because the dogs went crazy the last few minutes. So I stopped and pushed the thing to stop it, went in to download it, and it was nowhere. I spent everywhere thinking it's got to be somewhere. And I was Googling how do you find it and stuff. No, it just disappeared. And it said, well, maybe it wasn't finished um, something. And somehow I hit delete. Well, always when you hit delete on something, you have to delete it and then you have to okay it. So it was like, I don't know. It just seemed weird. And I also have major headache again. This headache has been going for days. The did I already say it was 8:16? Oh yeah, because this morning I slept. God, it was nice to wake up and see. It was just it was like 6:45 when I woke up. When the dogs were like, okay, we're getting up, and but all night it was a rough night. Max was up puking. I don't know. He might be getting worse. I'm giving him a bunch of natural stuff, but I don't believe in the going and start cutting them apart. And then if you have some kind of CA, NCER down in your esophagus and stuff, they don't go in and I mean, you gotta, if you're a human, I mean, I've heard now, this before, it was like, forget about it. Like pancreatic, well, there for a while, liver too. But then they came up with some revisions and some like, we'll cut out this part. And so I think pancreatic is still pretty serious, but they may still do some kind of revision. But esophageal used to be like, no, forget about it, you're done. And and see, and that's where my pre was a long time ago was in there, but it went away because a lot of stuff is there to your body's communicating with you. It's trying to tell you like this isn't where you're meant to be. You can stay here, but you're gonna keep getting sicker. And so, anyways, but mine cleared up. And you remember when I went in to get the physical before I got the explant, the nurse practitioner, she was all over that. She's like, oh, I'm sure it's still there. She wouldn't quit questioning me on it. It's like, no, I was cleared years ago. And but the raspiness in my voice, I've said before, it's scar tissue because of the um, GERD or whatever, and the hiatal hernia. So my esophagus was too loose, and so when I would be sleeping, acid, because I was wreck all the time, so I had a really acidic stomach. And now I don't have a gallbladder, so my system is just a mess. And but the acid was washing up into my throat all night, and so it caused scar tissue. So my voice, so it's not. But that also was something that my dad got. But it's weird because when you get something in certain places, it's because you're not speaking up. You're not speaking your truth. You're not being honest with yourself. It has something to do with being honest with yourself and speaking up for yourself. So, anyways, that. Um, but there's been a lot of I don't know, a lot of energetic clearing doing this, even though my voice still stays crackly a lot of times. But I think a lot of times it's crackly because of the allergies and the not getting enough sleep. Because even when I'm getting sleep, even waking up late this morning, I'm exhausted. I am so exhausted, and the dreams are so insane. And it is so much like being in other places. And one of my dreams was so horrible, and I can't remember. I thought for sure I'd remember because I was up for hours after this, and Stella woke me up, and I was like, man, is she sensing that I'm having a horrible nightmare and she's waking me up? Because that thing I had seen about dogs can smell cortisol, so they know you're stressing, and so they'll wake you up. Because it was a horrible nightmare. I don't remember what it was, but it was horrible. And she woke me up, and I came out of it, and I was like, oh my gosh, it was just a dream. And so, and I was out for a couple of hours, and I was thinking, because I could not relax, and I was thinking, it's got to be the energy on the planet. And I think I looked at some TikToks for a while, and I saw some more people explaining about the alignment thing. But something about Saturn and Pluto and Aries, and it hasn't been aligned like this in like 6,000 years. And what Saturn brings is, I don't remember all of the details, but something about things changing. Something about seeing the truth and going into what it is you want or something. Which, I mean, that's what we're in, this like chronic state of seeing and making choices, believing, moving forward. And so the then I finally did go back to sleep, and I went back into some crazy dreams. So I just feel exhausted when I wake up. I don't feel rested. I feel like I'm just busy. And then the allergies. And this morning I did a video to show our crazy sky. Every day is some crazy sky. And we got the styrofoam ball snow, which I didn't even know it was going to snow. It wasn't on our weather. So and it's a light, like dusting, but it's frozen out there. But it's the little styrofoam balls everywhere. But yesterday I was so bummed. I was having such a bad day yesterday, man. And I was talking to my daughter, and she's like, well, just come over here. And it's always like, well, where am I going to go? Where am I going to stay with the dogs and stuff? And she goes to go to your mom's. Well, I was like, well, what am I going to do? Bring my tent? And because I need more than just my tent. And so and I know she wants to get a bigger place where she has room where I could go and stay. But and then I was thinking, I couldn't even go and just stay. I mean, if I had just those three, dogs, I could. But also Max was sickly, and he puked last night again in the middle of the night. And I think I mean, that's what you kind of get when you get a dog from the pound that and they're found in the streets and stuff. They're not probably very well taken care of, so he probably has some kind of issues. Like I said, I don't know what it is. I mean, it was the doctor who was the one who said you're gonna have to go to a specialist and get a scope and have them look down and see if there's anything in there. And so I don't know. But even if I went and I did that and I paid to do that, and they said, oh yeah, you got this and this and this, and we want to do this, this and this, that's the thing where I was like, well, I wouldn't do that, that and that. And I had this argument with the vet over Winston because they were telling me, do these tests. And it was an ordeal because he couldn't hold his urine, and they wanted he had to hold it in order to do these tests. It's like, wow, you can't, it just comes leaking out of him nonstop. And so, and they're like putting that on me, like I'm going to have a talk with him. Well, you're going to have to hold it. It's like, dude, if he could hold it, he'd hold it. He can't. It's just coming out of him. And I don't know where his stuff was, but but that's where, they started saying, well, this is what we want to do. And I said, okay, so if this is what we did, and this was what came back, then what would be the treatment? And then they would tell me, I'm like, well, I wouldn't do that. I'm not going to put a 12-year-old dog through that. And especially the people who I know who have, and people who do, it's out of desperation. It's out of that horrible, like, I can't lose you, and I get it, man. I mean, I have my soul dog with me. I have my, my spirit animal, my mission partner. And it's such a close connection. And she lifted her head. Like, I know, a little sense here, a little snort, a little sense of acknowledgement. But so I get that, not wanting to feel that pain, but the people I know who have done it, they got like a year, and half of that year was spent with their dog going through a lot of stuff. And when they do remove stuff, it leaves a space, and that space can fill up with other things. So yeah, I mean, they're not telling us everything we need to know, and so it's like, no. When you know some of this stuff, it's like, no, I'm not going to do that. No, I'm not doing that either. And then with their with their farm, then them telling you, this is the solution. It's like, no. The people who take that stuff, it goes faster for them. It's like, no, thank you. And which that one another actor died. He was super young, only 53 years old. The other one, I think he was like 48, one with the 6 kids. This one was 53. So, and they said he died a year after he got his ALS diagnosis, which I just saw somebody saying, it probably has to do with these, but I don't know. Who knows? Because that's not the only way that they have gotten, I mean, I got the allergies all the time. There's no telling what's percolating. And, and I found after the Hep C thing is like, you don't want to go in, you don't want to know, because once they tell you, it messes with your mind. That's where they have mind control over you, because they've set a narrative to these diagnoses. And so then you go in and you play it through, you play it out. And so it's better to not know and let your body figure out how to heal. And when your body can't figure it out, it's not meant to. So it's because you're out, you're leaving. So it's not, but your body knows what to do. And these people are interfering. So that's the thing, I'm trying to do all this stuff. I'm giving him a bunch of supplements. I'm giving him like vitamin stuff and turkey tail and oregano oil. Like, I'm giving him a bunch of supplements to try and help him naturally. And but I mean, he may have been just meant to come here and be a part of our family for a short time. I don't know. But today he just seemed worse, man, with the waking up puking. And then and I don't think he's being able to get his puke all the way out because his throat. And then he just sleeps a lot. But the day when he was eating, it was like, oh my God, it's like a crime scene, man. It's just a splatter everywhere. But one thing that improved my day yesterday was I got the other dog crate came. I was like, oh God, so freaking great. So now Ruthie has a great big one, and so she can move around more freely in there. And so, which it was really cool too, is it has a middle thing. If I want to put in a middle thing and divide it in two, because it's pretty big, it's a 48-inch. And my daughter had told me, well, look on Marketplace. You can find good deals on Marketplace. I went on Marketplace here. It's like everybody's charging as much as they paid for it or more. It's like there was no good deals. And some people were so rude. Like, you'd ask them the measurements, and some people were just rude. Like, you say, is this still available? If it's on there, it's available. I was like, sorry, that's the initial response it gives you. Like on the Facebook page, on Marketplace. It's like you want to communicate. That's the button you have to push. Is it still available? And then they answer. Well, he didn't like that. So so anyways, I ended up getting one off of Amazon and putting it on the credit card. And so I got to get this credit card paid off before my income is reduced substantially. But but anyways, it's really nice and big, and so now I have one to put him in, and it's got plastic, the tray, so his mess goes in the tray, and not everywhere, even though it's like also on the bars of the cage somewhat, but and hanging out of his face all the time. But but so I can put Ruthie in there, and then let her out when she's done, and then he can still be in his thing, because that's the thing is, before it was like he would take forever, and Ruthie couldn't come out of hers until he was done, because he would take so long, and I couldn't keep having him in here because he was just trailing around, going all over the place, because I can't be in 2 rooms at once. I can't be watching them, everything they do. And it was just like, it was just like stressing me out, man. Then I put him in there. We'll keep her in her locked in her thing, She finishes like in 2 seconds. She eats so fast. And he takes, I swear to God, like 30 minutes or something for him to eat. And it's probably not that long, but probably 20. It takes so long for him to eat. And so now I feel like I had a better system because I got to do it yesterday evening and then this morning. But so she goes into hers, he goes into his. When she gets done, she can come out and scrounge around looking for crumbs, and because she won't try. Stella is done, by the time I let her out, anyways. But then, sometimes Archie comes in there to eat, sometimes he doesn't. But he also wants to scrounge. So Ruthie wants to come out and scrounge, but she's not aggressive like to him. I think a lot of, she tries to do something and he is bitchy back to her. And I don't know what's happened in the times where they've gotten in a brawl, where it was, danger, danger, Will Robinson, but she doesn't seem like she's super aggressive. She just seems like she's impulsive and annoying. Like she wants to be in everybody's face. She wants to be climbing on everybody. She's like the attention deficit kid in class who's on top of everybody, talking the whole time. Like just pester, pester, pester. So, anyways, the now that I got that, it felt like it was so much about her because I could just leave him in there. He holds the mess. He's not wandering around spraying his drool everywhere. And it's, oh my God, it's so disgusting. But so now it's so much more in one spot. So that is a huge amount of stress off of me. And then just being able to let her, because she would have a fit when she was done eating, especially if Archie was in there going around scrounging. It's like she's sure she's missing out on something good. And she would have a fit, screaming and crying and crying. She's very vocal. And Stella's, most of her vocalness is whining. But, what's her name over there? Ruthie. She's got a wide variety of a lot of noise that she likes to make. And she'll squeal, she'll cry, she'll bark, she'll moan. She's got a lot. And I'm gonna try and teach her how to talk. I keep seeing people teaching their dogs how to say some words. I'm gonna keep trying to get her to. And then Archie too, he's very vocal. So I'm gonna really work on him. I did see a pug that somebody had that they did get it to say I love you. So I'm gonna work on them too, to keep trying to get them to talk. I've tried with Stella, and she just like does one of these little looks and then looks away. I'm talking like a whale. That's how I talk. I communicate as a whale communicates, which I saw about whale communication. This is so interesting. So it's like over off the Fiji coast, there is a place where you can go snorkeling, and the people take you down by the whales. So there's a spot. I don't know if it's a pod play. I don't know where it is, but so they take you out, and it's a place where there's a lot of whales. And so you get a snorkel around there. And if the whales want to communicate with you, they'll come to you. You don't bother them, they come to you. And and when they do, sometimes two of them will come up and they'll start talking to each other. And when they do, it's like this vibration goes through the water. And they said when this happens, the people who are snorkeling and stuff always have to come to the top. They're always crying. It's very intense. You feel this whole vibration of them speaking right through your whole body, which is really cool. Which also yesterday, you can hear that little plane. This is the second time by. Sometimes it's just going and going. So the other thing is so they've used AI now to communicate with the whales. So they made the AI or something make some whale sounds, and so then the whales came up and started mimicking the same sounds. So they're trying to translate through AI what the whales are saying, so that we as humans can now talk to the whales or something. So there's some interesting stuff about that. I thought that was really cool well, I'd be kind of scared to go down with the whales, but it must not be giant ones that can open their mouth and just swallow you whole. It must be smaller ones, and then they're interested. They want to come up and visit you and stuff, which I've seen also people on boats with their dog, and the dolphins are very interested in playing with the dogs. So that's also cute. And they had their dog on a leash thing because they did have their dog jump into the water before. So now they keep him tethered in the boat. But this dolphin was coming up and they were doing this whole playing and stuff. And the dolphin was so excited to be playing with the dog. It was really cute. So, anyways, but we're going more into a world like that. And I'd seen, so whatever, there's lots of stuff about this alignment, which I think is creating a lot of heavy energy and stuff. And what I've noticed is even if you get yourself really worked up or really sad or whatever, which I've been going like all over the place, like I'm just same as everybody else. I'm going through it too. And, but the thing that you don't want to do, I think, is get in judgment of yourself. You just got to feel your feelings and go through them. You don't want to start judging yourself and being hard on yourself. Just witness yourself. Allow yourself to be. Understand yourself. You know, we all have limits. We all have buttons. And so, but you don't want to go into, you know, like I'm just an idiot. I'm a piece of shit. Don't go stuck into their labels. You know, I'm just an impatient bitch. I'm this, I'm that. You know, you want to be more like, okay, well, if this happens, you know, and then the next time it happens, you may be doing better. And then sometimes, you know, you can start seeing like, well, if I fix this thing that's really irritating me, you know, like the meal time, which I've been going through a lot of different things because I was feeding him a different place. But then as he's gotten sicker, then I was like, okay, well, I got to keep an eye on him when he's eating. I can't just have him in a whole nother room. And so, but now having this cage thing, this crate eating thing, oh my God, I feel like that was a lifesaver. And that came through the trainer because I didn't think of that. The trainer was the one who told me to start putting her in the thing to eat in every meal. And then when she has a TREAT, put her in there to have that because then it creates less aggression because then they know nothing can come in and get their little thing. And so, and then plus, you know, she can't go take anybody else's. Even when we've had those, though, she hasn't. The person who is going to always get the most picked on is Max, and it's because he's like passive. And I don't know, maybe it's just because he's always been sickly. And then, you know, they know that. Like, there's a horrible thing going on in a zoo in Japan. And it's like we're all witnessing it, and it's like it's horrific. And they have a little monkey whose mom rejected it, and they're keeping it in the cage with all these other monkeys, and the other monkeys are so freaking mean to it, and it's always crying and screaming. It's like I can't even see these videos anymore. And it carries around a stuffed baboon, and it treats it like it's its mom. Oh, it's heartbreaking. And then one of the baboons or some took him under his wing like for an hour. I don't know, because everybody was like hopeful, like, oh look, he's accepted now by this group. Nope, they turned on him. But he did have the experience of having a cuddle and having to be groomed for a minute. But you know, it's horrible to watch, and people are really getting kind of outraged now. They're like, this is abuse. You need to get that little guy out of there. Why are you allowing this to go on? Man, and it is. It's like, put him, like, this is horrible. It's like, but I don't know. I mean, is that also a place where they eat monkey brains while they're alive? Like, I don't know. Like, do they have the same? Because now there's a thing coming out about, who is it? Muhammad? Is that the Muslim person who is their savior or something? But it's one of those religions is now coming out and saying that because we have dogs, that we keep good spirits away from us. Angels won't come to your house if you have dogs. There's all this stuff. Like, they do not like dogs. And you shouldn't have them and stuff like that. Well, somebody was showing more stuff about them and dogs. It's like they don't like dogs, even though they're sitting there saying, you know, like, you know, we like dogs, but no, you don't like dogs. And you know, and every place has different, every culture has different things. And so here, you know, we like dogs. We see them as companions. A lot of them become part of our family. And so, yeah, but it was a whole thing. But anyway, so we got the yeah, everything keeps being exposed. There's like so much stuff being exposed right now. Alex Jones had some guy on, and he was saying all these people, Elon, all of them. That's not the original. All those were, met the squad at the Get back in like 2016, 20 something, and all the people that were watching all this stuff play out are all people who are stand-ins, and Alex kept being like, "Are you sure?" This is just a clip. I don't even know where you watch Alex Jones show, but and he's like, "Are you sure? You're sure about this and all this stuff?" And this guy's, yeah. The only thing that got me on this guy was when he said, "Yeah," and JFK original, he's still alive, and I was like, I don't know about that. I guess if they, I don't know, they could take it. I don't know, man. Sometimes they just always go too far, and I believe Junior. I think that was all faked, that whole airplane thing. But the dad, but also the whole thing about Junior is that there's another man who's coming out and saying he's the original Junior. That this is a stand. This guy isn't the original, which I don't know. There's so much. This world is so full of just. It's like you can't just get too caught up in stuff because it's all so ludicrous. It's all just a bunch of lies. Everything in our world is lies. But I think that's the part that we need to break free from. We need to go and move in a different direction, which I was just carrying on about yesterday. But so I'm not going to talk as long today just to see, if this is going to go on. Is that, oh man, that really got me yesterday. But that was just one thing of events. Like there was more. It wasn't like that was the only thing that happened and I just couldn't handle it. It was just like one thing after another after another. And it was like in my head was just pounding. And the and one thing that is just, I don't know, still might be bitchy. I mean, it's just like I can just sit and bitch about a lot of stuff. But anyways, there's more frustration. So there was things that were really causing me frustration. And it wasn't just losing the video. It was just one of those days, which there just seems to be a lot of them, which that, confirms to me that, some of us are just under attack. Like the dark just is, it's just like just trying to shroud us or something. Which I think a lot of people, it's a little simpler. It's not as much work because they're more participants. They don't question this world in the same way. They're not trying to pull free. When you're trying to pull free, it's like they want to keep putting up obstacles. They want to keep putting things up to make you frustrated. And even I was sitting there thinking, like, why would I put myself through this? And then always the answer comes back is because you learn and grow. And we think like the things that are happening are so serious and it's so hard, but it's not how we think it is. And so it's just challenges, even though it's just draining. Like, man, I think a lot of us souls didn't realize how draining this was going to be. Just so draining, man. Just is like your energy just feels like tapped out. And then there's just so much chaos. But anyways, so this one video I saw, so this girl, she was talking about this psychic person and their premonitions or their prophecy. And so they had prophesized something that had happened. I don't remember what it was. And I think this is somebody from a long time ago. Maybe 1800s or something. I don't know. I don't think they're alive. So they said they had prophesied this one occurrence and it was correct. Then they prophesied another one and it was correct. And it was about what happened, in 2020. And so now there is another one that they made, a third one. And I don't know how many they have. I don't remember the person's name. I think it was like an Italian prophet or something. But he said, the person said that there's going to be a whole bunch of events that are going to change our society. There's going to be a lot of things that are going to happen, and that, um, but it's all going to lead us into a better world where it's going to be. I like the word that she said, so I can see. Uh, Not bliss, but a world, like not euphoria, but something. I can't think of the word. But so she said we're gonna, it's gonna be more, of a better place. But she said we're gonna go through a few events. He said that are gonna happen, and there's gonna be like one after another, and it's gonna go over for a couple years. And she said it's not like all of a sudden we're going to just wake up and everything's going to be perfect, but all these different things are going to lead to this really great thing, which goes along with the heaven on earth and the golden age and stuff like that. So, and I know that there's going to be these events that are going to happen that are going to keep changing things, which I want to say thanks to Karen for her message yesterday. That was uplifting. So crazy. Some of these little things, they can just make you feel like, okay, we can do this. But I did see when I was up in the middle of the night, the lady who was talking about Mothman in Indiana. she she was saying that there was a tornado that was happening at this presently last night in the middle of the night that was around the area where his sightings were. So I'm not sure, and I'm not sure if that would be the main event and if that was it. But hopefully it was just something like that. But there's no telling there's no telling all the different things are going to happen. We just got to keep remembering that whatever happens wherever we are, that's the part that we're playing to go into this more beautiful world. Which I also saw this other guy, because I know that part's true. I know that we're going into a more beautiful world, and that we're going to go through a lot of stuff, and that's what changes us. And we're going to go through a lot of hard things, which this is kind of funny too. So at first I saw a news clip where it's like Fox or something like that, and Donald was on the plane, and they were like following him around asking him questions. But this is all like a show. It's all like a big show, man. So he's on there. It's like, and so they get to come up, and so they say, okay, well, what about disclosure of aliens and all that stuff? Are you going to, do you know if that's true? Because Barack said that it was, and all this stuff. And his response was, well, that would have been uh, government secrets. And so Barack would be in trouble if he said that, because that's not something you're allowed to say. And so then the news guy's like, well, president can say whatever he wants. And he's like, no, not, you can't say secrets or whatever. So then yesterday afternoon he posted, I guess on True Social, and he said, with all the interest that we have in all of this stuff about aliens and stuff, I'm going to go ahead and tell. So I'm going to tell you guys about it. So anyways, there's supposed to be a big disclosure coming. Which I had heard that he was going to do a big disclosure in June, but so it seems like maybe it's bumped up faster, which makes more sense. Like, what? Okay, we're going to talk about it in June. It's like, why don't talk about it now? So, anyways, so that is, could be on the table this week. I mean, I don't know what really good things are happening. There's a whole bunch of stuff leading us up to WW3, and which I think that guy said something about that. The prophet said there was going to be something that was going to happen, like a WW3 situation, but it was going to make everything so much better. So it's not going to go through and be the destructive thing, is like what a lot of people fear. So we'll see. But then there was also something else I was going to say about. Um, so there's WW3 stuff going on. There's always disaster stuff going on. Oh yeah, because what my daughter had said, why don't you drive over here too? I had seen I-84 was closed down, and Dead Man's Pass was the truckers were having to stop and couldn't pass it. So we know the road's bad. So the way I would even get there, the roads are all jacked up. Which California, the roads are all jacked up. Tahoe got like dumped. Like, there are a whole bunch of places that got a huge amount of snow, and so there's roads that are being blocked and people sitting stranded on the road. I saw this was last week. Something happened, and it was in Louisiana or something, and the people have been trapped on this road for 2 days. And but that also happened during um, what is that called? Not escape, um, evacuation. During one of the points of one of the hurricanes, there was evacuation, and the people were stuck there for days on the road. So I don't know what was going on in Louisiana. Something was blocking the road or something, and the people were stuck there for days. It's like, that is so crazy. Why don't they turn them? But I said years and years ago, all the travel that I would do, like all the road trips and stuff, I started really realizing, like, oh, they're controlling our movements. They control them. Like all this, oh, we're gonna out in the middle of nowhere, and we're gonna have these people are gonna stop you, and we're gonna sit there while they're doing road construction over and over and over and over. It's like, no, this is they're doing all this on purpose. And I used to think this when I was younger, especially being in LA and stuff. And the traffic, I would always be like, how in the world can this be? And and I would always, it was like I would see it in my mind's eye that these trucks, like at the front of where all of it, like there would be a point where these trucks would all line up and then go slow and block back up all the traffic. And and I used to just see that in my mind's eye because it didn't make any sense to me. I used to think that somebody's doing this on purpose, and now I've seen videos of, yeah, that kind of stuff. So yeah, they're definitely in control of our movements, and a lot of it I think has to do with the frustration, keeping your time on the roads, so because when you're on the road and you've got other places to be, nobody wants to be stuck in traffic, so it creates a lot of tension. So they create a lot of tension in like bigger cities through the road control and people being stuck. So, and the tension in the cities and the chaos and stuff feeds into the system in a way that they look for, that they want. So, there's so much about our reality is so controlled, and it's controlled not in a good way. It's controlled in a way to create frustration and anger and tension, and then they give the outlets of get drunk and do drugs and perv on people. That'll make you feel better, which is more dark energy. Which that is the thing that just keeps getting me. I was really ranting about it yesterday. Is the people who keep thinking that the way to move forward is through violence, through taking them all down and stuff. Well, surprise, surprise, they've been taken down. And the person who was doing it is somebody who a lot of people hate. Even yesterday, I saw somebody who used to be an MAGA, and then they're a big Christian. I don't know, because a lot of these people start turning on him, and she was saying now he has got it authorized that he gets to a certain, I don't remember what chemical, like say Roundup or something. Oh, we're gonna start putting that up there, and we're gonna spray it on everybody. And they're outraged, like, oh my God, look what he's doing now. I'm like, what I see is like, well, there's a lot of people not paying attention, not understanding what we're breathing and how they're getting sick and stuff like that. So the only way to get them to see is like, we got to bring this guy in and say he's going to do it, and then all of a sudden they start getting it. So to me, it's just part of the show. Like when they say that stuff, that's not really what's going to go down. He's not going to really start. They're trying to put an end to it. So, but they got to get more people to understand what's happening, so more people want an end to it. And but they keep people so distracted and so all over the place with all of this stuff going on. But and then the people react in their way that they've been programmed, because when you've gone through life after life after life, all of these lives, that so much of it was in about warring and control. And so and like they've chased us around, like if you were in a village and then here comes your royal, and they, which, you know, this whole big drama about Andrew, so there's a whole dramas about all that too I was talking about yesterday. But so but the royals have always been, you know, chasing us around because they got to have somebody in control. And don't forget, a lot of these people are in, you know, they got to keep the pure bloodline, so they're all doing it with each other. So they're all like a little kooky. And then they also, like there was one queen that she had such severe syphilis or something, she wouldn't even bathe or something. Like, there was all sorts of weird stuff. But she, like, she was rotting. She had brain rot, her skin was rotting, all sorts of gross stuff. So, yeah, these people aren't like, we're going to take a knee and give you our loyalty. You're the greatest. You're the smartest. You're the one we need to follow. Like, what? So, anyways, but they would chase us around and they would use their soldiers. So if you left, you know, like all the villagers who left and came over, found their way to America, because it was a lot of Scottish people that started finding their way over during all of that big battle that was going on when I think it was about the Protestant and the Catholics or something. They've always done things to cause problems. And then it was like what were those people called? There was big fights. There was battles that were going there, and the people had to leave, and then they came over to America, and which wasn't America yet, but they all took up in the Appalachian. And then, so the ships followed them to try and battle him, and then try and take over control and say, well, you're still going to pay us. It's like, God dang, man. So this has been like our kind of like a part of our existence in this reality, is them chasing us around and always trying to force us into submission and controlling us and keeping us ignorant about things. And so the what was I gonna say? So when people have that same reaction, well, we're gonna fight them, we're gonna battle them. It's like, that is your program. You need to override that program, because that program is dark energy to fight. And this is what was getting me yesterday. And I said it, I think, in my little thing, but I also was talking a lot about it, was because it's so much like going into hell and then deciding that you're going to take it over and you're going to fight the devil for it. It's like you have entered their space. We came here, we entered their space of our free will because we wanted to come here because of the obstacles that we have, the challenges that we have, because we learn a lot through the obstacles and the challenges. So we would come here to experience this place, and we would grow from it. But there was a lot of this control and a lot of battles. There's been battle after battle after battle after reality after reality after reality. It's a battlefield, battle zone. And so the ascending out of that kind of mindset of being like, well, we need to fight them. What are we going to fight them for? Because this place is so great. We want the corporate, we want this medical, we want, what is it we want to take from this that we want to fight them for it? Because what we really want is our freedom. What we really want is to be able to live freely and to live different than what is, you know, like the allowed way to exist in their reality. And so we're not going to get that from fighting them. And even on the sense of, well, we need justice for the kids and all that stuff. It's like, but a lot of these people are ancient souls. Like, how are you, when they know that they're not, they, like, this is what we don't really get it. Like, we're going to learn it over the next few years or whatever. The real sense of eternal, that, you know, when you connect to your eternal side, that they can't do anything to hurt you. It's all programming. To think you age and you die and stuff like that is all programming. So when you connect to your eternal side, they can't do anything. Just think about Gallant Thor. You know, when he came from somewhere else and was trying to spread information because he thought maybe they wanted to help us, but they didn't. And they made it clear, and he was a problem. And so they kept, doing him in and sending him away. And then the last time, and he kept showing back up. And then the last time they had like sent him out in parts, like they scattered his parts, and he still showed back up whole. And because he is eternal being, and he can represent himself. He's not connected to this blood, flesh, and tears or whatever. He's not. He sees beyond that. And so they keep us in limitation, thinking that we're flesh and blood. We need them to survive, and all of their nonsense. Confirmation. And but that's the thing, is that these beings are like him. A lot of these beings, yeah, there's some but they've figured out also, some of them have figured out how to move their consciousness into new structures. They've also figured out how to take parts off of other ones and keep themselves going. Like, there's a whole bunch of shit going on here. But the ones who you really want to face justice, a lot of them are eternal. Like, what are you going to do? They will just put themselves back together. So it's we got to move out of their space. We got to move out of their realm. We got to move away from them. You got to understand about vibration, and they're held in a certain vibration. Like, the universe has got them. They can't move out of that vibration. They can't chase us around like when we're in their realm, and they can chase us around. They can't do that when we're out of this realm. Like, when we change our vibration and we move up, they can't go and follow us. So what do we need to do to really break free from them is we need to move up and out. We need to go towards the light. We need to go towards the positive, it's the pole shift and stuff. It's like our direction, where we're headed, and we're going to shift gears, and we're going to head towards the positive, because we've been struggling around the negative. And then you got to keep pulling yourself over towards the positive, which is going to flip. Some people aren't doing this themselves, so the universe is going to give them a little push in the right direction. But but those of us who have been doing it, we've been going through the spectrum of gray. Like, we have been trying to move towards the light, and we have to shed these parts of ourselves that is connected to the dark. And it's not just in this lifetime. It's not just the pervs or whatever. We've lived hard lives for eons. We've lived a lot of lifetimes, and we've lived a lot of hard times, and that is a part of us, and we got to shed these parts of us. Like, all your anger and tension and bitterness doesn't just come from this life. This life is here to help you bring it to the surface. But it's not just like you just got all that from this life. No, you carry it. It's your baggage. It's like what you carry with you. Your ego, I said yesterday. Oh, when you didn't hear yesterday. Your ego packs the bags of what you're going to carry. And so you're carrying all of this baggage from life after life after life. And so this is the unpacking the bags, shedding it, and it's the crossing the bridge to get to where we want to go. So we're in the process. We're not to the light, which a lot of us, even when we think, well, we got to be to the light by now, it's like, well, we're still working on it. So, but that is where the universe is going to give us some, keep edging it. It's going to do this flip. It's going to help, especially if you've been working on it. But with the people who haven't been working on it, it's going to be, like shocking. They're going to be shocked. So they're going to go through a lot of turmoil. It's going to be hard. And, but those of us who have been working on it, it's going to feel good, because it's like, oh God, that was like a little, that was like helped us through some of the stuff. And there's going to be some of these energies that are going to come in and give us a lot of clarity. And so it's, going to be helpful. But that's where we want to be headed. We don't want to stay back and fight them. That's the trap. That's stay here and fight with us. because we need somebody to fight with. And it's like, no, I'm done. You do whatever you want. And that's the whole thing about with Jesus, you know, you got to turn the other cheek. You got to move forward. You don't just sit there and because that holds you back. I mean, you want to fight and be in that energy. And they want to keep you in that energy. So they want to release all this stuff and get you all worked up and get you all mad and get you to want to stay here and fight with them. It's like, no, you guys are, well, we see it. We can understand who and what you are. And I'm moving forward. I'm going in a different direction. I'm going towards the light, towards the vision of the beautiful world where we live in luxury or live in, uh, what is that? I really wish I could think of the word that she said this morning. It was like playing over and over in my head, but now it seems like it blocked. But but you know, a good world, a world where things are good and peaceful and loving and happy, not this one where it's a struggle and people are out to get each other and it's a lot of dark, horrible things happen here. So, but for if you want to go towards the light, isn't we're gonna fight them and take this world over? That's just gonna hold you in this world. You got to go and move out of this world. You got to move out of what seems like the you know, oh, what seems like the obvious thing. We got to fight them. We got to get justice. We got to do this and that, which a lot of the justice came before we even a lot of people even started knowing anything was going on. And you still don't know. Like I think some of them. So I think some of them were humans. Those ones, you know, would be easy. The other ones, I don't know what they do with them. Like with Galleon Thor, they like, and he was a good guy, and they blasted him out there, and then he just shows back up. So, you know, I mean, I know I heard a long while ago Donald had said, well, we're gonna remove this and we're gonna blast him out there, and but the thing is when you're an eternal soul and you know you're eternal, it's like, well, it doesn't matter. Do whatever you want. I'm good. I'll be just coming right out of there. So, but that's our saving grace is to just get out of their realm, to move out of their space because, yeah, what are you going to do? And to me, I just see it so clearly. It's like you're going into hell and then you're deciding that you're going to take it over from the devil. It's like, it's his place. It's his place. It's like another analogy I used yesterday was like you go to a party, you don't like this guy, what he's doing at his party, so you kick him out of his own party and you take it over. It's like this is his space, this is his place. If you don't want to be at his party, leave. It's like that's where we got to get our mindset. It's like, well, we don't have to be here. We can move out of here. We can go somewhere else. And a lot of it at this point in time is like in a dream state. It's like dreaming of something better, knowing that there's better out there, like you could have a better life. And what does a better life mean to you? You know, and how do we get there? And so that is kind of like the luxury of fantasy, the opportunity to create in your mind what it is that you want. And as creators, then we will put that into it will become what we want, but we have to see it and move towards it, not keep staying here fighting with them. But it's just so crazy because you watch all these people's reaction and everybody's like, well, let's burn it down, let's fight them, let's do this, let's do that. It's like, that's not the solution. That's the trap, and that's where they want to keep you. So I don't know, it's clear to me, but it's obviously not clear to everybody. So anyways, now I've been talking a long time. I swear to God, if this video, oh my God, please don't let it all. So I think what I'll do is just go slower. So when I stop, then, because all you do is push this button and it stops, but then where did it go? So, because I know I didn't push anything about. So, anyways, the PTSD is setting in. So, anyways, I can hear melting happening out there. Tomorrow I'm going to go in the morning and I think I only need one jug of water, but I'm going to go to one of those because lots of women are starting little porch bakeries. And so there's one that's over by the store, so I'm gonna go get some stuff from her porch bakery and fill up a water thing. So the but really that's all I got going on besides just watching movies. But that's what I want to do. It's like I just want to go watch a movie and just disappear into some fantasy, and then it's kind of sucks, man. That because I like the going to sleep and going to these other worlds and stuff like that, but some of them are tense, man. There's so much tension. It's like intense. Like bad stuff keeps going on. So, but oh yeah, and there I watched a show yesterday. It was really really good. So if you like interesting murder mysteries with twists and turns and stuff, this is a good one, and it's on Prime, and it just came on the other day on the 18th, I think it went on, and it's called Day 56. So, anyways, I really liked it, and I've been seeing all these other people who have been watching it on the internet because once a show ends, which the one show I was watching just ended, which I still haven't seen the last three episodes, that everybody was talking about now what do we watch? It was the same thing after the heated rivalry when that one ended. Everybody's like, oh my god, now what do we watch? But then everybody was watching the Tell Me Lies, which it was good. It was the one where I was talking about all the dysfunctional people, and to me, I guess a lot of people were in a lot of judgment of them, but to me, I was like, it made me feel like, oh, because I did a lot of dumbass shit when I was young, so it made me feel like, oh, so I wasn't that big a dumbass. Like, it's kind of normal to be a dumbass when you're young. So, but a lot of people were in a lot of judgment of it. There's a lot to talk about the whole thing. But anyways, but some other shows and everybody's like, well, now what do we watch? Now what do we watch? So I saw people talking about it, but I'd seen the commercial of it, and I had already had it on my thing like, ooh, I want to watch that. And so anyways, I already finished. It's 8 episodes, I think, and 45-minute episodes or something. And but it was good. It was really it keeps you being like, oh, I love murder mysteries. So, anyways, it was a good one. And uh, so let's see. Because right now I'm watching an old movie off of one of those channels that I watch on. I think it's Newcastle After Dark, and they always put in old horror movies from the 70s and stuff, old weird movies. So I'm watching one of those, which is like, I don't know what's going on yet. Is the woman crazy? Does she see ghosts? I'm not sure, quite sure what's happening. But some Irish movie, some old Irish movie. But anyways, so I'm gonna finish that, and I don't know. I kind of just would like to just go sleep it through this stuff. But I'm sure there's gonna be more stuff going on. Who knows? Who knows? I still don't think that Hillary and Bill, like, I haven't seen anything about that. And then is Donald going to start releasing stuff like now? And that one girl, the Australian one that talks about the beds, she said there was going to be some really good stuff. And she was insinuating, because she said, I can't say, but she was definitely insinuating that there's going to be stuff like, to me, when I heard her, it sounded kind of like she was saying, like, we're going to get to meet some of these beings from other places that they're interacting with. But I don't know. I don't know. There's going to be some introductions or what's going to go on, which would be cool. You know, we don't need to just see pictures of shit. Like most of us who are on social media see that every day. People are getting all sorts of footage. But yeah, it'd be cool to start meeting some of the people. So, anyways, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens when I push this little button and see what happens with this video. But, you know, I mean, it is important. The important thing to be doing is working on yourself, because yeah, the people who aren't being, it's gonna be like a big uh, shock when they see when things start happening in a certain way, when things start flipping. And like that one guy said, there's going to be a bunch of events, which makes sense to me, because I said, you know, there's going to be things that are going to be happening all over the place. And you know, because some places, we're not all going to be affected by certain things that happen in certain places, but there's certain places that have to have things happen, because it's like letting go of energy that's been trapped there. And like there's a whole bunch of stuff about what is it? Is it Milwaukee? It's not Missouri. It's Minnesota. there's a whole bunch of stuff about things from the past there, which now even there's new releases of um, more about the rich people getting to pay to get to go on helicopters and be taken over in Afghanistan over the farms so that they could, you know, you know what they like to do. So these people are just so dark. And the there's something else I was gonna say about that. The the games they play, but there's gonna be more things. Whatever, just gonna keep uh, waking people up or sure. Oh, because of the different things, having different stuff that has to work out. So whatever in Minnesota, like there's some really old history things there that have got a lot of energy that has to purge out. And there's going to be in a lot of different places. So these situations that have to play out, it's not going to just affect all of us. It's going to affect different places. So there's going to be a lot of different things playing out all over the place. And and I think that the Mothman, I was going to look it up this morning, but I forgot. But I don't think it was Indiana before where but it's come a lot of times, but it's in the movie. The Mothman movie is the one they show when he shows up. Is it may have been in Ohio, but it was someplace where there was a big bridge collapse. So, I don't know. I mean, somebody last night was saying, well, this tornado is not really that bad. So, I don't know, he's showing up for. And, but he's also, there's got to be more than one of them, I guess. There's one over there in Indiana, and then there's one over there in Laredo, Texas. So, but you would think any kind of being that there would be more than one. Like, look how many human beings there are. So, anyways, and don't forget, we're not all human. All the people who are here, just because they look human doesn't mean they are human. So, that's the thing. But we got to detach ourselves from being human beings and realize, well, we're eternal too. We're souls. And we can, we have more control than what we've been led to believe. So, but where it all starts is learning how to shed this place, learning how to shed all the parts of you that are dysfunctional and toxic, and move into the space of loving yourself and forgiving yourself and accepting yourself. And then once you can do that, then you can start doing it for everybody else. So it's accepting and learning to love everybody. So learning to love yourself is a big part to this whole thing that's happening, because if you want to live in a world where everybody loves each other, you got to start with you. Everything starts with you. And that's the thing, is everybody's looking for things outside of themselves. Everything's inside you. I mean, it's all has to do with you saving yourself and learning how to love yourself and letting go of this place and moving forward. And then if you want to share space with other people, you got to learn how to love everybody, accept everybody, and move in that direction. And then you got to learn how to be able to direct your vision. What you focus on is what is going to be your day. So you need to figure out how to focus on positive things and not get consumed by all of the stuff that is out there to try and consume you, like all this negative tension and hatefulness. And just like that, it's like the little monkey thing. I can't watch it. It's just getting me too upset. I just can't keep watching it. It's just making me too mad. And so that's where you got to know, like, okay, you got to figure out where you need to pull in and pull out, zoom in and zoom out, and be able to have better control of your emotional state, because that is the mastery. The mastery is your emotions. And so if your emotions rule you or you rule over your emotions, that's what we're learning how to do here. So anyways, that's what I got to say about it. That's what I got to say today. And so let's just hopefully this goes through. So anyways, but I'll be back tomorrow. As long as I can handle it, I'll be back tomorrow. And we'll talk about some more, whatever happens today, we'll talk about it tomorrow. So anyways, I'll talk to you later.